Society, a community where women from all backgrounds come together, share their stories, support one another, and reveal the unfiltered reality of our lives. I'm your host, Dahlia, and this podcast exists to give voice and space to women whose experiences might otherwise go unheard. Today, I'm joined by Christy, a regional manager for a property management company in North Carolina. Her parenting philosophy, if you don't believe it, you don't receive it, has guided her through an unconventional family journey while building a successful career. What makes Christy's story so valuable is how she navigates the dual challenges of professional life and motherhood. She's honest about that transition from being her children's entire world to becoming the person they text only when there's a money issue. A reality many mothers face, but we don't really openly discuss it. Whether you're juggling career and family, navigating relationships with adult children, or simply looking for wisdom that works both at home and in the workplace, Christy's story reminds us that we're all figuring it out together, one day at a time. So tell me, you're currently regional manager? What are you?
Regional manager?
I'm just going to call you regional vice president because that sounds right to me.
Hey, listen, it sounds right to me too, but it's not a fact.
But it feels right.
It feels right.
Okay. And we work in the same industry, but tell me a little bit about how you got in this industry, because there isn't a single solitary story that is the same.
Absolutely not. And one of my interview questions with people is always, how did you fall into this industry? Because you fall in.
Mm-hmm.
So I was in restaurant management for about 10 years and then became a mom, and I needed an industry with more normal hours. So I started looking around for a new job. I had some other life things going on as well. And a friend of mine from high school was a leasing consultant, and she said, "Oh, you should lease apartments. It's really easy. All you have to do is walk around and be able to talk to people." And I was like, "Well, I can definitely do that." So I found a position and applied for this leasing consultant position with Summit Properties, went for the interview, went for the follow-up interview, and was hired first time out. So that's how I fell in. And it really is walking around and talking about, the community. And when I told my parents, they were a little disappointed because I had gotten a master's degree. And they were like, "What do you mean you're leasing apartments? You're not using your degree?" And I said, "Okay, this is what I do. I walk around and brag about where I work." And they said, "Oh, yeah, that sounds about right."
Sounds right.
Yeah.
Wait, what's your master's degree in?
Child psychology.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I bet that's super useful though.
I use my degree every single day.
Uh-huh.
Because it's applicable to children and adults alike, because everyone's got the inner child, and sometimes that's what comes out in moments of anger and all other different situations. And so, yeah, every day.
Where did you go to school?
George Mason.
Oh, no way.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool. What was your undergrad the same as your master's, or did you do something different?
It was psychology, and
All
I
the
was
way.
hooked. I absolutely loved it, and I really thought I was going to go all the way, get my doctorate. But halfway through my master's program, my fiance and I broke up, and I started realizing my life wasn't going down the same path that I thought it was going down. I saw my student loan balance getting larger, and I realized that I probably was going to need a break from school. And so I finished my master's degree. I had the most wonderful mentor on earth at George Mason. And I had some really close friends that were going on to their doctorate. And I thought, you know what, it's probably a good time for me to just kind of take a break from school and figure out what I want to be when I grow up. And so I spent the summer still in restaurant management and just trying to figure my life out. And then just ended up in restaurant management for a couple more years. And, you just, next thing you know, you're a regional property manager and you're going, "I still don't know what I want to be when I grow up."
I was about to ask, did you ever figure out what you wanted to be? Because I still don't know.
No, but I did know from a very young age I wanted to be a mom. And that was the most important thing. And I was successful in that. So no matter what happens in life, I achieved my initial goal.
And how many kids do you have?
2.
And how old are they?
They're both 25.
Wait, twins?
No, one is adopted.
Oh, that's amazing. That is so amazing. What was the adoption process like for you? How did that come to be?
Oh, that's an interesting story. The adoption process did not happen. I came upon him by accident. He's a friend of my son's. He came home with my son one day, and long story that I won't go into detail because it's still his personal life. But he ended up staying for the summer when he was 12, and he's now 25. And
Still there?
Yep.
Oh, I love that so much.
Yeah. So we had extra room, we had extra love, and he's mine for forever in my heart.
Was it hard to adjust at all, or was it just a seamless? He's in the house. It's like it always was meant to be.
It was always meant to be, and I laugh because he's 2 months older than my son. And one time I'd asked him about siblings. He's like, I'd really like an older brother. And I was like, well, that's not quite how it works. Little did I know he was going to get his wish. But it somehow it just worked. And they were really like brothers. They, quarreled a little bit like brothers. You went in my room. Why'd you take my sweatshirt? And a little bit like that. But they had their own set of friends. They did their own things. They did both love soccer. So that was great. But one was a true soccer player, and the other one, the one that is mine now, is an amazing artist. I can't put into words how talented he is. He says he's not, but he is. He can draw. He can create with clay. I mean, his mind is just very, very artistic, and he's really great. And ironically, they both now live in Raleigh, and they are thick as thieves. They still have their own friends, but then now they have like a joint circle of friends, and they hang out every week, and they are totally and completely brothers.
That is so, you do not hear stories like that literally ever.
Yeah.
That is remarkable. It's even more remarkable that it's just how your life, his life unfolded, and how you were open. You knew you always wanted to be a mom.
Yeah.
When did you know, like you said, you knew you always, is that like as a child, you just...
Absolutely. Playing with little babies. Like, some people play with babies and Barbie dolls, and they get to the teenage years and they're like, oof, I don't want kids. Never had that feeling. I always knew, and I have younger siblings, so I was, partially caretaker to them. I was always the babysitter on the block. But it was a part of my heart that I knew existed, and that I would not ever feel complete without having children. So
what is it about being a mom that you love so much?
I think the caretaking part, having someone to take care of, having someone to love on, but it's also pouring like into that vessel, because I have 3 nieces that I feel are pretty much my daughters. So I feel like I have 5 kids, and I'm constantly pouring into them. And I'm still really close with my nieces. The oldest one is trying to be independent, and we don't hang out as much as I wish we did. But I get it. She's finding her way in life. She's growing up. But I feel like just pouring into people, just like mentoring in business, just pouring into people fulfills me. And so pouring my love and my wisdom, and please learn from me, and don't have to learn, the hard way, is just part of my soul, my structure.
Your soul structure. Oh, I love that. So who poured into you?
Oh, I was very blessed with a wonderful family. My parents divorced when I was young, but both my parents married their soulmates.
Aww.
So I have 4 parents. And I am also very blessed that all 4 of my parents are still alive.
No way.
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh.
I even have 1 grandparent left.
What?
So I am very fortunate that I've had all these family members that have poured into me. We're all very close. That's why I will not relocate for a job. I will just have to be unemployed. And if I have to deliver pizzas, then that's what I'll have to do, because I'm not moving away from my family. We hang out every week. I see my sister. I see my parents. We all see each other every week.
Oh, I love that. See, because values is a really big thing. And it's really nice to hear you do not compromise your work for your values. It should never come to that. Mm-hmm. Has it ever presented itself that way to you in your life, where you've had to make like that choice?
I feel like when you get married and you start to build your own family, you feel a little bit like you're kind of breaking. Well, I felt like I was breaking away a little bit from my family being married. And I think there was a little bit of distance there geographically, and, maybe emotionally. But I also think that's part of the age too, in your 20s, mid to late 20s when I got married. And I feel like that was the time when you are independent, you're finding your, when you're proving you're an adult. I can do things by myself and I can get married. And so I think that emotional part. And then I did have, one set of my parents lived in Hawaii, another one lived in Wilmington, and I was still up in Northern Virginia. The ones from Hawaii ended up moving to Northern Virginia around the same time as I was getting my divorce. And so I ended up moving back in with them. And that really kind of started back the solidification of my family.
Your core family.
Versus the one that I built.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's a really special thing. Like I grew up with a family that still lives all over the world. So we used to all meet it together every summer. So I'd leave school early and we'd sit there and all be together. We spent every summer together, months on end from all over the world. We'd meet in Egypt and then disperse, right? And then come back and then disperse. But it all went away once it was the matriarch of our family. Once my grandmother passed, that was really the end of all of that. And so I can appreciate the value that you have when it comes to that, because now I'm left to build that. Mm-hmm. But I build it with my friendships. I found that I agree with you on the marriage thing. So I built it with my friendships because, but I have the foundation because of that, because that's how I was raised, because I understand being a family means something. I don't know that everybody feels that way, especially in a work environment. I feel like in a work environment, sometimes it's cutthroat. A lot of the times in our industry, I didn't feel that way in the restaurants. I don't know why, but like the restaurants just felt incestuous and everybody's just happy to be there.
Oh, well, the happiness might have been the drugs in the back room, the cooler, but
actually, that's probably true. Yeah. There's a lot of drinking, a lot of whatever.
It's a lot of stress,
It's a lot of stress.
That's why there's a lot of drinking in our industry too. It's a lot of dealing with stress. You either get really into exercise, you drink, or you find some other outlet. Wild cruise vacations, something to get away from the stress, but
it's cutthroat. Certain companies behave in a way where like values go out the window, but then they still like to use the term, we are a family. No, we're not. We're not a family. Family doesn't fire each other. Like it's just, you can't do that.
I've had family members fire other family members. It can happen.
It can happen.
That's why you and I, feel the connection, because I am Switzerland in my family, and I host the holidays.
Nice.
Have people to my house, and I'm the rock when things go bad. It's like, okay, you got to work it out. You got to talk, and you've got to make things happen. And
now I will say this: I am no contact with my sister. She does live 30 minutes from me, but she and I are very, very different people. We are not close, almost never have really been. I will always love her, but having her in my life is hard for me, and it caused a lot of toxic issues for me.
Right.
So I have gone no contact with her. I've gone no contact with my dad's side of the family as well for similar reasons. They came out of the woodworks when he passed because they wanted money. They was all about the money. They didn't give a shit about us or how anybody was doing. And to me, that's not family. The family I grew up with are the ones that I keep in touch with. We're the ones that all get together. So I took my kids to Switzerland, literally Switzerland, because that's where my aunt lives. And again, my cousins and my aunt flew down from England, and we all got together. That's what happens. You go somewhere, everybody comes. I find though that I am that way within my own friends. I'm that same way within my work. I'm that same way within my family. And of course, with my kids. It's just, you create that life kind of everywhere you go. I'd be willing to bet you do the same everywhere you go. Is that a fair statement?
I would hope so. I know that the home me and the work me are slightly two different people. The work me takes things very seriously, and I do have very high standards. I truly want my people to be the absolute best they could possibly be, and I will push and push and push and push. And I don't do that at home. at home with my family, I don't push people to be the best person they can be. I don't try to school them and teach them and nurture them to be something different. My kids, when they were young, I did, but the rest of my family, you are who you are, and that's who you are. But at work, I am slightly different. That I am a pusher.
I'm a pusher everywhere.
See, but not at home.
No, I am a pusher at home.
See,
that's but amazing, though. Not in the way that I want you to change. I'm a pusher in, do you have a dream? I want you to chase it. I don't want you to abandon it. I also am a pusher in, if I see you're not doing well, I'm going to pull you aside and be like, oh, you got to do better in life, whether you're an adult or not. I've schooled my aunts. Like, it's just, age doesn't matter to me. I find I don't know how to be different in different places. How did you do that?
I guess I just don't. I don't want people to push me, and I don't want to be pushed like at home, like at
True.
work.
Like, don't push me ever.
Yeah, at work, push me and make me better.
I don't even like that.
Don't let me settle. But at home, it's like my boys. I definitely push them, and that's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, when they're little. Yeah,
and then once you push them out of the nest, then I still will say, "Hey, your credit card payment's due tomorrow. It's not out of your account. Can you please go do that?" I'll still remind them. But I feel I'd rather be the shoulder to cry on, the listening ear, rather than the pusher.
Yeah.
So if people knew they came to me, then they would be like, oh, I don't want to go to Christy because then Christy's going to tell me, well, you should be, I want them to come to me and just lay it all out there. And I've learned to not try to relate and tell them stories about me and this, that, and the other thing. And I saw this great webinar, and I printed out, put on my bulletin board in front of my face at home, and it says, say this, not that. And it's just listen and say, that sucks. I'm so sorry you're going through that. What can I do to help you?
Mm-hmm.
Or that situation, I can't even imagine what you're going through. And then shut up.
And then be quiet, because let them feel their feelings. Not everybody wants a solution.
That's
so annoying.
Oh, but I used to be that person. And so.
Oh, for the solutions?
Yes, because I wanted to help people solve their problems. So I've really had to learn to shut up.
It's part of solving the problem. Is just feeling the feelings. Mm-hmm. My phrase in my house is feel your feelings, but let them go. Don't stay there. Feel it and let it go. But feel it first, because if you don't, you know what happens. All that stuff. You know this. You're in psychology. It's like, hold on.
There, deep down, and it all will come bubbling out.
It explodes when it's not supposed to. And then, do you feel ever that you had to fulfill both roles, though? Mom and dad?
Oh, absolutely 100%. Still doing the same thing.
Still?
Yes. Yeah. Who do you think is going to help buy the car? Who's going to help, change the oil and teach them how to change the tire and different things? Not change the oil, check the oil. Just check the oil. I'll pay for the oil change. Don't try to change it yourself. But yeah, those are the things that usually in a patriarch would take on that role, which I don't know why we do that. Because we totally could do that. Taught my son how to fill out his brackets and try to teach him bracketology. Now he's into it really big time. He was when he was younger, and that's fine. But he would teach me all about soccer. Mm-hmm. And I would definitely play both roles.
Are you ever a bit resentful for that?
No, because resent will do me no good. Why?
Fair.
Why?
Because we wanted. What did we want? Did we want anything?
You know what? I wanted healthy children.
Yeah. Okay.
That were well loved and are a good human being, and I got it.
You did. Okay, so with your adoption, so that was a seamless transition to get into, like, with your immediate family. How did that go over with the rest of the family?
So I think everybody in general at first was like, this is kind of weird. This child lives with you and you do not have any legal, thing over this child. And he kept staying. And I think it probably took a few months to a year for the immediate family to realize this is happening. And he's such a sweet boy. He is such a sweet, sweet, sweet boy. And even like friends and extended family members, they would meet him. And I would say, do you get it now? Like, do you understand why I just need to keep him? And they do. They did. They totally, he's a great kid. And then friends started, don't you think that's kind of weird? Isn't that kind of just a weird situation? And then they meet him and be like, oh my God, he's such a sweet boy. Okay, so would you give him back? No. And it just kept evolving and evolving. And his mom is still in his life, and she's a good person. She wanted to be a good mother, and it wasn't working out, and without getting detail. And she's still in his life, and he's still a good son. And
everybody then adapted to it.
Everybody adapted. Everybody was able to be flexible, and everybody figured out that this is the way forward.
That's really awesome. Was it hard for you to broach that conversation ever? Like, how did you sit down and tell him about it, or like, how did it go? Was it a situation where you had to make a round of phone calls, or
no? It was just he just kept saying and just kept saying and just kept saying, and it just kind of
it just happened.
Kind of like we've never had the conversation about Santa Claus with my kids.
What?
Yeah.
Tooth Fairy?
Yeah.
Never had a conversation.
No.
So do they still play it though? To be like, okay, Santa's going to bring me.
Well, because I always said, if you don't believe, you don't receive. So we never had the conversation, and they just never said anything. And when stuff shows up from whether it's Santa, from mom, or whatever, they're just like, okay.
Do you still write Santa?
I do still write Santa on gifts. Just the little gifts that are in the stockings. Santa brings the stockings, so those get stuffed overnight.
I really love that. If you don't believe, you don't receive. I really think that's a motto to live by.
Yeah. So magically,
that's a good motto.
Yeah, they never told me that they didn't believe, so they still receive.
Do you think they had like internal conversations between the two of them? Like, you don't say anything, you don't say anything.
100%. I 100% think they do.
That's so funny.
I know they conspire together.
That's so funny. Oh, I love that you've created that. And that's your big, big value right there. Oh, yeah. Where do you see this? Where do you see this going? Where do you see your life going?
Oh, I am hoping one of the boys gives me a grandchild at some point. Not anytime soon. And they know that. I think neither boy is really gunning to get married and have kids yet. I'm hoping that comes in their 30s. I would love to be a grandparent, but I definitely want to be close to them and stay close to them emotionally and geographically for forever.
Geographically.
Yes, because they're already in Raleigh and I'm in Wilmington, and I only get to see them.
It's only 2 hours.
Yeah, but I don't get to see them all the time.
No, you don't.
And I have to wait for one of them to come home to help me get stuff off the top shelf of the garage and do different things around the house. But when I go into town, I'll take them to dinner. They're always glad for mom to take them to dinner and pick up the tab. But I think we're gonna stay hopefully close in this manner for forever, and I hope we get closer. I think that we've got a fairly close relationship. If there's a problem, they will call me, but we're not on the daily, weekly phone call thing yet. And that's I want the weekly phone calls.
The weekly phone calls.
Yeah.
You're not on the daily. How often do you talk?
Talking. It's probably when I come to town, or if I actually get a hold of them. They're texters.
Oh,
so I think we probably text a few times a week, so that's good. It's not a daily text unless there's a money issue.
Has it always been that way, or did it change like when they got older?
My son and I were very close. Single mom. My son Tyler was very close, and he still, until he was 10, would crawl in bed with me, and we were best friends until probably 11 or 12, and then the guys were cool and I was not.
I'm waiting for that.
I'm waiting to be cool again.
I was told it happens now, like when they're in their 20s.
Well, I think maybe it's starting to happen. When my son had his 25th birthday, I happened to have been in town that day, and he had told me and asked me a few times when I was in town if I would come play trivia with them. So I knew I'd have to suck it up for his birthday. And he did. We went to dinner, and he said, "Are you going to come to trivia with us?" And I was like, "I'll come to trivia with you." It starts at like 8:00 at night, like some ungodly hour. And so that's my bedtime.
Yeah.
And so I did go, and I did play trivia with them. And he's like, "We've never won before. And if you come, I know we'll win." And I was like, "Well, I don't know about that." And I could only stay till 9. I was like, I can only stay like the first hour. I was like, I'm
too tired.
I gotta go. And I went back to the hotel and was trying to fall asleep, and about 9:50, I get a text message from his girlfriend. We won! They were so happy. So I think, it's starting. Um, but I'm definitely not their friend. I'm definitely not getting a daily text or the weekly phone call yet.
Yeah.
But
were you that way when you were younger?
Absolutely not, which is why I'm totally understanding. When the kids come home and they dump everything and they shower and then run off with their friends, that's how they were all through the teenage years. And my mom said, see, and I said, I remember doing the same thing. Friends were where it's at. Your whole world revolved around hanging out with your friends and making memories with your friends. And I'm like, why would I fault them for that? I still have those memories. I'm still friends with those friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. A
lot of my high school friends that I hung out with and did those things with.
Are they still there? Like physically, yeah.
So they're all live around here. Okay. So I don't see a lot of them very much. I have one that just moved back to Wilmington. We didn't even hang out that much, but I've actually found, just having this conversation with my friend Karen, as I'm getting older, my Facebook friends that I really am interacting with the most, a lot of them are my high school friends. And I'm not talking like, oh, we hung out every single day, but just friends in the halls, right, and friends in classes. We all have a very similar political mindset, and we're all really supporting each other right now.
Wow.
And I feel almost closer to a good dozen of my high school friends now than I did in high school, because we're really kind of needing each other to lean on at this time. And I'm still friends with them, and I still have, a friend or two from high school that come and visit me or that I visit. And I would never want my kids to have anything but that.
That's so awesome. So you're able to stay connected through social media helped.
Oh, social media is, and that's what social media is to me. It's not for me to find a new bra or whatever the coolest makeup is that makes you look 20 years younger. I don't care about that. I care about, finding out, how is my friend doing in Arizona? She's been having some health issues, and, some people have health issues. They don't want to get 25, 30 texts from people all day long. But, when she posts her updates, I'm like, oh my gosh, great. So the prayers are working. And my friend that got a promotion, in Maryland, that's amazing. My friend that has the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
I've learned about that through social media. That's what it's for. It's the connections. And if it's anything but for people, they might want to go back and relook at their social media needs.
Right. I've always felt that way when it comes to social media, is if you're upset about your feed, or if you're upset about any comments that are there, or what keeps popping up, that sounds like it's you. Like it is you and who you're letting in. Yeah. I've never had an issue with my feeds ever, regardless of the platform, because it's always been what I invite in my life. It's not all positive. It's sometimes just real, but very much like you, it's just about staying in the know. Mm-hmm. Well, that's really interesting. So we're almost to time. And I like to end every episode exactly the same, which is asking for you to give a piece of advice to anybody listening to the podcast, so that they could take it and sort of either apply it to their own life, or even just something for them to keep thinking about. What kind of advice could you give? And it could be in our industry, but I feel like with us, it's not. I feel like it's about life.
So, unfortunately, I have been relying a lot on Ted Lasso.
I love Ted Lasso.
So my advice would be for people to watch the show and take lessons away from that show. I got all my managers the Believe sign for their offices, and I've shared the lessons. Be a goldfish, let it go. Be curious, not judgmental. And really, when you watch that show and you take away that, there's so many lessons in life and in business to take away from that. Yep. My advice to just watch that, take lessons. You'll get like 13 lessons out of that, just in that one piece of advice. It's
very true. The goldfish one, I watched it with both my kids, and that one was the line they loved the most, which was be a goldfish. And so I found this like laser engraver thing at one of the Renaissance festivals, and it literally had the outline of Ted Lasso's face with the mustache, and on the bottom it just said goldfish. So I got one for each of them.
That's awesome.
Let's see. Of course you would watch that show. Of course you would know, like the best way to learn. Like, I really loved that show for the same exact reason. How in one episode, like even in just one episode, can you be crying, like bawling, and then crying laughing? Like,
absolutely. It was an all around excellent show.
It was.
And I learned a lot from it. And I hope a lot of people do.
I love that. I love that. Well, thank you so much for being on the podcast and for sharing your story.
Absolutely.
It's so unique. I'm really excited about what you shared. As we close our conversation with Christy, I'm reminded why we created She Sweet Society, is to build connections through shared experiences that often remain hidden behind carefully curated social media posts and professional facades. Christy's willingness to share both her parenting triumphs and challenges while balancing a demanding career illustrates what this community is all about. We're navigating similar waters, whether we're property managers in North Carolina or pursuing entirely different paths. What resonates most is Christy's adaptability, her understanding that relationships evolve, that independence isn't rejection, and that sometimes wisdom comes from unexpected sources, like Ted Lasso. These insights transcend her specific circumstances and speak to universal experiences many women face. If today's conversation resonated with you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Remember that She Sweet Society exists to amplify women's voices from all walks of life, creating space for stories that might otherwise go untold. Until next time, this is your host, Dahlia, reminding you that none of us have all the answers, but together we have enough to get through today. And sometimes that's exactly what we need.